You're tuning into the Soil Conservation Connection. This podcast is brought to you by New South Development and Training, sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture, and produced and broadcast by We Believe Digital Broadcasting. So just what is soil? What is soil conservation? And why should I care? Tune into the Soil Conservation Connection, Saturdays, 10 a.m. on We Believe Digital. Welcome back to the Soil Conservation Connection. I am your host, Deidre Perry. I am so glad that you decided to join me today to talk about all things soil conservation. If you're new to the podcast, the Soil Conservation Connection is a podcast produced by New South Development and Training. It is broadcast through We Believe Digital and its platforms, and it is sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture. And every show we want to tell them thank you for allowing us to do what we love, and that is to teach people about soil conservation. Now, last week we got into how soil is formed. Why don't you take a look at the recap? You're tuned into the Soil Conservation Connection, and this is our recap. Soil is not just dirt, and we're recapping soil formation. Soil is formed from weathering of rock, decomposition of organic matter, and microbial activity. Factors affecting soil composition include climate, organisms, parent materials, topography, and time. There are 6 different soil types, as we talked about on last week, and they are clay, sandy soil, silty soil, peaty soil, chalky soil, and my personal favorite, my loamy soils. And we're going to get deeper into those today on the Soil Conservation Connection. So we talked last week about soil formation. We talked a little bit about the different types of soils. There's 6 soil types, as you saw from the review, and we just mentioned the names of them. So this week we're going to get into depth about what these soil types look like, a little bit about their profiles, the textures, so that you can learn a little bit more about the soil that we hope to conserve. And I'm just so excited. I know sometimes things like conservation seem boring, but as we keep going, we're going to learn so much and have so many exciting adventures that you're going to love being a soil conservationist yourself. We're going to go take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to get into depth about the profiles and what the different soil types feel like.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
You're tuned in to the EU, our entertainment update on We Believe Digital. We're reviewing new releases, upcoming movie dates, and giving you all the tea on the best movies that you want to see. Into music, we got you. We're reviewing the latest music releases from top artists right here on the EU. Shows, festivals, and more. We're giving you all of the info on upcoming events right here in your city and across the nation. The EU, our entertainment update. Fridays, only on We Believe Digital, 7 p.m. Be there. I hope you enjoyed that commercial for Earthblend Coffee and for our new movie and entertainment review podcast that we'll be airing here called the EU Update. We're going to make sure that we're bringing you all of the latest movie reviews, music releases, and events. So we're going to keep you informed on We Believe Digital. But back to the soil at hand, let's get dirty. So we know that the 6 soil types are clay, sand, silt, peat, chalk, and loamy soils. And each of those are different. Some of them have different nutrient profiles, different forms of density. They look a little bit different. And we're going to get into more of that right now.
You're tuned into the Soil Conservation Connection. Why understanding soil types is important. Soil is a complex mixture of minerals, organic matter, water, and air. It is a living organism that supports plant growth and provides nutrients and water to our plants. Soil types are determined by their mineral composition, their texture structure, and other physical and chemical characteristics. As a result, understanding our soil types is essential for successful farming and gardening. It helps farmers and gardeners to select the right crops for their soil, improve soil fertility, and manage water resources. In general, there are 6 soil types, and that is clay soil, sandy soil, silty soil, peaty soil, chalky soil, and loamy soil. We're going to review all of these soil types, and then we're going to get into different soil profiles. So let's talk about our clay soils. Clay soils are characterized by fine, sticky textures and the fact that they are a high water holding capacity type of soil. It's comprised of mostly clay particles, which are the smallest of 3 main soil particle types, sand, silt, and clay. And clay soils are known for being heavy, dense, and difficult to drain, but they also possess high nutrient retention and can withstand drought conditions. In agriculture, clay soils are often used for growing crops due to their high nutrient content and ability to retain water, such as rice, wheat, and cotton. They're often grown on clay soils as they can thrive in the most moist and nutrient-rich conditions that these soils can provide. However, the compact nature of clay soils, it can get very compact, can make it difficult to work with, and they may require additional management practice to ensure optimal plant growth. Clay soils can also be used in the creation of pastures for grazing animals. The high nutrient content of these soils can support a diverse range of grasses and other plants, providing a rich source of food for our livestock. However, care has to be taken to prevent overgrazing, as they can lead to soil compaction and erosion. Next up is our sand. Sand is a granule material composed of finely divided mineral particles. Sand has various compositions, but is usually defined by its grain size. In agriculture, sand is used in multiple ways, and this is to include but not limited to poultry grit. Chickens and birds consume the soil to help with their digestion. Bedding sand. Livestock enjoy sand as it serves as an agricultural bedding material, and it is inert while providing comfort, support, and traction. Nursery sand. Certain crops benefit from growth in the field or container nurseries before being transplanted to a main farm plot. Sand helps with that. And riding arenas. Sand is safe for horses. It's safe for their hooves and their joints, and they move around without impact or damage in sand. So these are several ways that sands are used in agriculture, and we want to understand what sand is used for. Silt soil. Silt soil is one of the 3 primary types of soil. The others are being sand and clay, which we just talked about. It is characterized by its fine particles, which are typically smaller than sand particles, but larger than clay particles. These particles are usually between 0.002 millimeters and 0.05 millimeters in diameter. In agriculture, silt soil is utilized because of its ability to support a wide variety of crops. Its high nutrient content and good water holding capacity provide the necessary conditions for good plant growth. And some of the crops commonly grown in silt soil can include wheat, corn, soybeans, and a variety of fruits and vegetables. Peat soil. Peat soil is very interesting, as it is the surface organic layer of a soil that consists of partially decomposed organic matter. It's derived mostly from plant material, which has accumulated under conditions of waterlogging, oxygen deficiency, high acidity, and nutrient deficiency. Pea soil has many benefits for agricultural use, but should be employed with caution. It is much higher in organic matter than many other soil types, and therefore it's very suitable for plant growth in areas that experience low temperatures. But because it is still decomposing, we want to take note that if we place it in there, the acidity of the decomposing materials could affect your plants. Chalk soil. Chalk is a soft, white, porous, sedimentary carbonate rock. It is a form of limestone that is composed of the mineral calcite and originally formed deep under the sea by the compression of microscopic plankton that has settled to the seafloor. The composition is made of high calcium carbonate. Its characteristics is that it's fast draining, poor nutrient retention, and often shallow. Agriculture suitability for chalk is usually difficult. It presents significant challenges in agriculture. It's because of the high pH, and it makes some nutrients unavailable to plants. The fast draining nature and shallow depth limits the choice of crops that can be grown. And some crops like brassicas can be grown on chalky soil, but require amendments to overcome the nutrient deficiency. And that would be something like adding some compost. They are susceptible to drought conditions. So chalk isn't the star of the show, but it is usable. Last, but definitely not least, is our loamy soil. Our loam soil is composed of sand, silt, and a smaller amount of clay. By weight, its mineral composition is about 40-40-20. Loamy soil is ideal for growing a wide range of crops. It's rich in nutrients, it has excellent water retention properties, and it helps crops to grow and thrive. It is particularly suitable for growing vegetables, fruits, and cereals. In fact, loamy soil is the most commonly used soil in potting plants. It's most commonly used by gardeners and farmers. In conclusion, understanding soil allows you to understand what you can plant and grow and what soil types will provide the correct nutrient and water retention for your plants. Soil types are determined by their mineral composition, texture, structure, and other physical and chemical characteristics. So understanding these will help you with farming. It helps with you selecting the type of crops, or if you have to do soil amendments, what you need to amend with. Understanding soil is crucial to soil conservation.
So we see all of the different soil types have different characteristics and are used for different things. Next week, I'm so excited because we're going to actually get down and dirty. Yes, we're going outside and we're going to get in the dirt so that we can actually look up close and personal at these different soil types. I hope you are learning so much about soil conservation right here on the Soil Conservation Connection. Every week, we like to give you a tip of the week, a conservation tip, and our tip for this week is practice mulching. Take a look.
And here's our soil conservation tip for the week. Our soil conservation tip for this week is practice mulching. The practice of mulching consists of applying organic material over exposed soil. Aside from adding healthy organic matter to the soil, mulching has numerous benefits. It reduces soil moisture loss through evaporation and reduces the soil's exposure to wind. I know on my own garden that I have at my house, a lot of the times I will grow and pluck up some of my plants when it's time to harvest. And after I've harvested everything, there's just exposed soil and it needs to be amended. Mulching is one of the ways to do that, and it helps to eradicate soil erosion.
We thank you so much for tuning in this episode, and we look forward to seeing you next week on the Soil Conservation. Here's a sneak preview. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Soil Conservation Network. Soil is not just dirt. Next week, we're going to get dirty. We're right here on the site of Socrates Garrett Enterprises, and as we talked about, soil is formed from decomposing rocks and organic materials. So next week, we're going to have a live demo. We're going to get dirty. I thank you for joining me this week. Remember, our soil is important, and we've got to conserve it.
You're tuning into the Soil Conservation Connection. This podcast is brought to you by New South Development and Training, sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture, and produced and broadcast by We Believe Digital Broadcasting. So just what is soil? What is soil conservation? And why should I care? Tune Conservation Connection, Saturdays, 10 a.m.